Stronger than ever. Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest tonight did the very first HBO comedy special 20 years ago. His latest HBO special, It All Started Here, airs on December 2nd. Please welcome back to our program, Robert Klein. Welcome.
Hey, Max, that was fantastic. So I was playing with it in the back. One of the best solos I've ever done. Can we do that again so they can play it with them?
What?
I was playing back like crazy.
You were back there with them? Go, go. Very nice.
I can't keep up,
Oh,
but
that
I
was
can...
nice. Thank you. We could have just filled the whole segment.
You know, I always confuse you and Andy. I say Conan to him. It's just a natural mistake. Yeah.
People on the street don't know. Very confusing.
You know, I thought that was very funny. After you got past the mayonnaise, that political discussion made sense to me because there were two impressionists behind there moving their mouth.
Yeah.
On a comedy bit.
Yeah. Well,
for the first time, if we could settle the nation's problems that way.
This way. This is the way to do it.
Can you take that bit on the road?
No. I don't think anyone would buy it out there. We're barely getting away with it in here. Let me ask you something. I intro you and I say you did an HBO special 20 years ago. I swear to God, I didn't know they had HBO 20 years ago.
Yes, everything was made of stones, like in the, what do they call these Jetsons? They're one of them. Yes, there was the first
Jetsons
one.
Jetsons are the future. Flintstones back, Jetsons forward. It's a very simple rule.
HBO was Time Life on. It had about 400,000 subscribers at the time, maybe less. A lot of them in eastern Pennsylvania. They only showed movies. They tried one special, this is true, a polka festival in Pennsylvania. And
really?
Disaster. They had accordion maintenance problems, and
it all fell apart.
It was said to be some bellows sabotage. Anyway, they decided, somebody said, take a kid like Klein, I was a kid then, and tape him a full hour. Language, anything you want. I mean,
it's cable.
It wasn't Def Comedy Jam either. You know, there's a lot of talented kids on that, but I can't take, you know, the language. But it was a big breakthrough, and now this will be my 6th show.
Well, actually, I saw clips from the new show. It isn't airing yet, but I saw some clips because I'm very powerful in the industry, and I wasn't kidding. I don't know why people laughed. But you talked a lot about death, actually, in this special. You really do. You seem obsessed with death now.
I'm not obsessed with it. It's just that my material has always reflected my stages. I have no intentions of dying for about 20, 30 years. I've never been in better health. Last time that happened, but that happened to Cabot. You know, someone said,
that's a famous thing that happened.
And I've never felt better, proceeded then to die.
A guy died on the old Dick Cabot show.
Well, a lot of us died on the old Dick Cabot show, but this guy literally died on the Cabot show. Cabot was here, and some Supreme Court, some pomposo had just been saying, and he was talking, and this guy's death rattle happened. This guy went, and this guy, the pompous one, thought that the dead guy had laughed at him. And went, well, I found that highly unamusing. And Cabot went, he's dead! You know, Cabot started to give him mouth-to-mouth or something.
That's not mouth-to-mouth. I think... I'm sorry, Robert, I think that's why the guy died. He did his best. But death, you do talk about death in the new special.
My parents are both gone now. I had to go through the death of both. They lived long lives. Shopping for coffins, things like that. I mean, one thing about Jews, we bury immediately. It's
like that, you guys bury quickly.
Don't you agree, Andy? It's a good way to do it.
I certainly agree.
My many Christian friends, I've been to many more wakes than I had. Everyone dies, don't they? And it's so tough on the family. You know, 8 shows a day, 5 days in a row, like vaudeville, you know. And Jews don't use chemicals. We just, a Jew dies, zumo, into the groundo. A Jew dies at noon. Call the relatives in Phoenix. The funeral's at 2. That's what Jews do.
Right.
And therefore, we bury so quickly that old Jewish people get very nervous around their relatives. They're afraid to take a nap, lest they be mistaken for death. It's a very tough situation.
Oh, we don't have that problem.
There's a lot of what we call a PJB, premature Jewish burial. It hasn't made 60 minutes yet, but, you know, Meyer, he's alive! You know, and they have, they have shovels to dig it out. And, you know, coffin shopping, they pulled a bait and switch on my sister and me. I thought that wasn't sporting.
What are you talking about?
Well, my mother, she died 5 years ago. She left instructions not to spend a lot of money on that. It annoyed her philosophically, as it would me. I want the minimum. I don't want the 6,600 with the 100-year guarantee with cable. You know, I won't need that. So, now very religious people sometimes get a simple pine box, which was not, it's like slats, like a sun-kissed crate, not substantial. I don't like that. Because it groans and creaks, and the arm could go right through, smack a pallbearer in the face. You don't want
Sure, that can happen on a quick stop. Someone could get hurt, yeah.
So, we wanted something a little, you know, they used to say in General Motors, you go for the Oldsmobile. You know, you may not, you pass the Chevy, you know, the Pontiac. Anyway, so, you know, they go, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have that one for 1,800. I'm sorry, the 22 we're out of. And, you know, the 26, oh, I'm sorry, we have the 6,300. I can get you the other one next month. You know, I said, sure, we'll put Mother in a Dairy Queen while we're waiting for you. Jews should have been buried yesterday.
Should have happened. You hang on 1 sec, we're going to do a break.
I'm not going anywhere.
All right, we'll have more with Robert Klein, but first, ladies and gentlemen, James Bond has a few passions. That's right. Actually, he has a new passion. I never do sell-out ads that often, but I'm trying it now. Let's try it again. James Bond has a new passion. He's driving the new BMW Z3 Roadster in his latest film, GoldenEye. Check out this clip from the movie. Hey, everybody, we're back. I'm here with Robert Klein. We were just talking the last thing about your HBO special. And speaking of which, you used to have a talk show.
I did.
Yes, you did. Was it on USA?
USA.
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 The USA Network.
Yes, it was on once a week, which is a lot less pressure than you have. Of course, it was a lot fewer viewers. I think, yeah. Except when we had Ringo or someone like that. But I could do unusual things. My first show was an all-ventriloquist show. Really? That's a cool theme show to have. It was a cool theme show. Drove the director crazy. 9 heads. There were 4 ventriloquists, 4 dummies. They call them figures. Let's call them dummies. And one of the dummies had a dummy. His dummy had a dummy. It was very clever. This guy was already in 3 dimensions of unreality. Anyway, one of them, the dummy, got waylaid at LaGuardia. He was taking a separate flight? I think Eastern didn't come across. Okay, all right. He got separated from his luggage. So he showed up, and for the rehearsal, it was pathetic to see him with nothing there, just, you know, like this. And with the whole thing at the leg. And, you know, what can I tell you? It was less, I would say 50% as effective as with the dummy. That's great that he went through with the rehearsal. You got to admire him. He went through with it. You know, he did, you know, a voice, because he did a voice of a voice. I did an all-dentist jazz band, and they did floss between tunes. That was a good joke. But as they each had their solo, they weren't bad. Yeah. I would flash their specialty, you know, like endodontist, endodontist. And they liked it. It was very, very different. We, after 2 years, we were replaced on USA by the real estate seminar. I'm sorry. The Dave Delgado cash flow method. You got to watch out for that guy. He's a monster. Where in which you show you have no cash, but you purchase an apartment building. You know. Now, with the equity you don't have in the apartment building you don't own, you purchase a hotel, and suddenly you're rich. All right. Well, I get a question all the time. People are fascinated. They want to know who's your toughest guest. Who was your toughest guest on a talk show? When I did a big syndicated radio show in front of an audience, Rush, the Canadian band, who answered monosyllabically. You know, I took the trouble to listen to this noise overnight. I was not a fan, but I listened to their stuff, and I wasn't going to be ungracious to them. And I said, I understand you're using double percussive bass this time for the first time. They went, yeah. And I went, I understand. And the other one was William Shatner, who, when we took... What
William Shatner? Captain
Yes.
Kirk gave you attitude on the show?
He was there with Persis Kimbata, who had a beautiful woman had shaved her head. It was the first movie done of feature of Star Trek. And they hadn't let the public see it, or the critics, rather. They hadn't screened it. We didn't know what it was about. So we were just talking about it, and the commercial came, and he got up and left. I thought he went to go to the bathroom. Never saw him since.
He just got up and excused himself
Well,
and
we
just
ran
kept...
out of questions. I said, let me have... Budweiser was my sponsor. I think I said, let me ask you something. Can you get a cold one in outer space, Bill? You know, I didn't... We were running out of things to say, and he... You know...
Gee, why did he have a problem with you then? I don't understand.
He and Persis Kimbata had no hair, but he pretended he did, you know.
Oh.
No, that's not fair. He was a good guy.
He does not wear a hairpiece.
He did walk out on me. He did walk out on me.
All right.
And I forgave him many times over, but it was pretty low. I didn't know what to do.
All right. Well, you're doing well. HBO special. It all started here Saturday, December 2nd.
And don't forget the sisters.
10. And sisters.
You know, we're on the right network, aren't we? Yeah.
Depends on what the right network means.
NBC. We're on Nibbick, aren't we, Andy?
Yeah, NBC.
Andy, I've neglected Andy. He's such a good guy. I like Andy a lot.
Thank you very much.
You're a good man.
We're all going to get a drink after the show together, the three of us.
Well, I'm on the wagon myself, but I'd be happy to drive
Just
you
me and Andy, I think.
All right, I'll have a sarsaparilla.
You can drive us.
Sisters. You know, it's on Saturday nights. I love playing my part. Big Al Barker. It's a great show.
Okay. Well, best of luck with all of that. Robert Klein, everybody. Thank you very much. Thomas Hayden Church is coming up. We'll be right back. Stick around.